Hey you guys, I am about to run through a pretty quick hamstring and hip stretch. So it's going to be a quick one. It's great if you've just worked out, maybe you went spinning, anything that your legs are feeling a little tired, a little sore even. If you just need a little bit of a relief in your hip, even your back, it could be pretty helpful. You'll need one block. You might want to stretch if you, if you're hamstrings today. So that being said, we're going to get right to it. Take your legs out in front of you. You'll take a little bend in your knees if you'd like. If you're feeling really open, you can straighten your legs. Flex your toes towards your face. Reach your arms up towards the sky. Take a big breath in. And on your exhale, lead with your heart, hinging at the hips, bowing forward, 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 kind of like you're pulling your chest as far forward as you can. Once you've reached as far forward as you can, then you can start to drape your body down towards your thighs. And then all together, let's halfway lift, lengthen your spine. So flex your toes towards your face. Again, lead with your heart as you draw it forward. And some of you might just hold here. If you're feeling pretty good and long, it's okay to drape your body. If you're feeling like you're super rounded, I think it's better to keep your heart lifted, almost like you're sticking your butt back. Yeah, and just breathe wherever you end up. With your next inhale, you'll draw yourself back in. Take your right foot, bring it in towards your chest. Open your right knee out towards the right. Your right sole of your right foot will line up with your left inner thigh. And then again, we'll lift and lengthen our spine. Let us find a slight outer rotation in your right hip, like you're pressing your knee down towards the floor. And then lead with your heart once again as you bow forward. If you need to take that strap, take that strap. And the action we want here is both a flexion in that left foot and then also a gentle pressing down with your right thigh as you bring your chest forward. And you should feel this in possibly multiple places, maybe the back of your left leg, maybe more your right hip or right lower back. Take one more long breath in. Big exhale. Make your way back up. Once again, you'll grab your block. Your block will come to the left side of your left leg. And you'll place your right foot, the pinky toe side of your right foot, on that block. From here, same thing, externally rotate your right thigh. If your knee's like super high up in the air, maybe take your foot back down to where we just were and do that again. If you feel pretty good here, lift and lengthen your spine, flex your left toes, and then again, you'll bow forward. And I don't really like to fold a lot here. I kind of like to just see how much I can lengthen my spine because I feel that the stretch I get in my right hip is heightened by doing that. You'll want to find some integrity in your belly by engaging your abdomen. And you'll find that breath by breath, the more you stay, the more your body will start to soften. And as that happens, then you might allow yourself to fold a little deeper. Maybe start to drape your upper body. And if you're not feeling a whole lot here, this one's pretty intense. So if you're not feeling a whole lot, you check that your right thigh is, your right shin is pretty parallel with the top of your mat. And that will probably help. I like to keep both of my feet really active. Take about 5 more big breaths in this one. Great. Make your way back up once again. You'll remove your block and take your right toes and point them. You'll see if you can cross your right shin kind of on the other side of your left leg. So your knees pretty much align forward. And instead of having my foot flat on the floor, I have the side of my foot down. If you're really open, maybe the top of your foot will be on the floor. Flex your left toes again, lengthen your spine. Once again, you lead with your heart and bow forward. And this one might be less of a stretch in your right hip, but more of a stretch in the back of your left hip and left hamstring. And that's perfectly fine and normal. And just again, target these spaces that feel restricted to you with your breath. So every time you inhale, you work on creating a bit more space with your breath. And every time you exhale, concentrate on softening something, whether it's your fingertips or your abdomen, or maybe letting your arms and shoulders get a little heavier. Relax the muscles in your jaw and your forehead. Take 3 more breaths. Maybe allow your head to get even heavier, taking your chin towards your right knee. Come back up. We'll take a little bit of a lean to our left. Bring your left leg underneath, so both feet are now by your hips. As soon as I get here, I normally need to lean forward a little bit, really squish my knees together, and then I sit back down on the mat again. You should get grounded in both of your hip bones here. If you're a little heavier in your left hip, it's not the end of the world. Everybody's going to feel a little bit different. But you do want both of your sitting bones down. If that's not possible, just extend your left leg back out again, and we'll do the same thing. Yeah. So with a breath in, lift and lengthen through your heart. Breath out. Once again, you bow forward. And it's okay to have a rounding in your spine, but try to keep pressing your sitting bones back. So right here, I find that I'm rocking forward a lot. So I'm going to use my fingertips to sort of push my hip bones back and down. Take 3 more breaths, maybe bringing in more depth into your inhales, more weight into your exhales. Once again, draw yourself back in. And we'll take our right arm straight out to the right. You'll take your left arm up towards the sky. Keep rooting down through your left hip as you side bend towards the right. Extend through your left fingertips. Get nice and long. And then softly come back up. You'll take your left hand to the mat or to the side of your mat. Take your right arm lifted up. Keep your heart open. Root down through your right hip. Extend through your right fingertips. And softly come up once again. Bring your hands into your heart center. Lengthen through your spine. Twist to your right, pressing your left elbow towards your right thigh again. You can still do all of this, you guys, if your bottom leg is extended. Lengthen through the crown of your head. Draw navel to spine. Exhale as you twist and look up past your right shoulder. Okay. What we want to do is keep creating as much length all the way through your back. Strengthen your belly as you exhale. And just relax your shoulders to make sure that they're not drawn up by your ears. Take a full breath in. And exhale, gently release, come back to center. Bring your hands behind you. Lean back, extend your legs out in front of you. And just gently tap out your knees. One side is done. Maybe give your knees a little massage, tap your toes together. We're going to go right into the other side. So right leg stays straight. You'll bend your left knee into your chest, open your left hip, flex your toes, and press your left foot into your inner right thigh. You'll lengthen your spine. And when you're ready, once again, bow forward. We want to keep that action of pressing down and externally rotating through your left hip and thigh, flexing your right toes, and staying long through your spine even though you're folding forward. So the hinge at the hips is where the fold is coming from, not your back. So if you're hunched like this, it's better to stay lifted in your chest to keep lifting your heart up. And then after a few breaths, you might find that you start to soften and soften and soften, then eventually let your head go. Roll your body back up to seated. Take your block, bring it right outside your right thigh. My block's pretty much, the top of it is in line with my knee, just to give you guys some clarity here. And then from there, actually I lied, I'm going to bring it a little bit forward of my knee. So the middle of the block's in line with my knee. Flex both of your toes. Root through your sitting bones, lengthen your spine. Once again, exhale, bow forward. Keep that external rotation happening in your left thigh. So there's a little bit of engagement to get the most out of your stretches normally. Yeah. And keep lengthening through your heart, up through the crown of your head. When sensation gets pretty intense, I would encourage you to deepen your breath and to really breathe into those spaces that are feeling deep sensation. And if you stay with it long enough, you may notice that something will give and eventually the sensation will pass. It's also important to know the difference between intense sensation and pain. Yeah, and that's your body listening. That's where your own intuition needs to come into play. Just finding that respect for yourself and for your body, and also knowing the appropriate times to challenge yourself to stay in the work, and the appropriate times to say, okay, I need to back off a little bit. Take about 3 more big breaths. Roll your body back up. Okay, you'll sit tall, remove your block, point your left toes, take your foot over towards the right side of your mat. Again, you kind of want to squish your knees together a bit. Side of your left foot is on the floor, toes are pointed towards your right or maybe a little bit back. Lengthen your spine. Once again, we fold forward. And it's really important to keep your right foot flexed here. I know that that's going to bring in some feeling in the back of your right leg. I can actually feel it all the way down to my calf today. I've been doing a lot of working out recently. And then just know that being able to feel so deeply is such a privilege. And it's such a blessing to be in touch with your body and to really embrace all of the feelings that come with having a human body. And sometimes I find that the longer I stay in these stretches, the more intense they get. Others, the longer I stay in the stretches, the more my body will kind of give, and the layers that come off are really just surface layers, and what's underneath isn't actually so bad. Sometimes it's the opposite, of course, and that's up to you, whether to stay and breathe or acknowledge that it might be time to come out or give yourself a break and then come back in. And take one more big breath in. Breath out. Come back up. Lean to your right. You'll hook your right leg underneath your left. Again, you want to try to ground your sitting bones. I'm going to lean forward to try to squish my knees together a bit. If you're super duper open in your hips, you guys, this is going to come pretty easily. If you're more tight in your hips, it might need some wiggling around a little bit. And that's perfectly fine. Lengthen your spine. Once again, you bow forward. Your bow forward might look like a little bit of a lean forward. It might look like a full surrendering into a pretty deep fold on top of your thighs. And just stay with your breath. It's easy to wander off when you're holding a specific pose for a really long time, and I would encourage you to stay here mentally, emotionally. Obviously, you're here physically, but just to really stay in your work and to give yourself this time to be present, to focus on your breath, the sensation in your body. It's really such a gift. Take about 3 long breaths in and out through your nose. And come back up. All right, so sit tall, lean your left arm towards the left, take your right arm up towards the sky. I'll take a little bit of a side bend to your left. Open your heart so you're not collapsing down but staying broad through your chest. Extend through your right fingertips like you're reaching for something. Good, and then pull yourself all the way up. Come right over to the other side, right arm out, left arm goes up. Draw your navel to spine. Again, reach for something through your left fingertips. Big breath in. And come back up once again. You'll take your left arm behind you, your right arm up, lengthen on your inhale. On your exhale, twist. So right elbow outside that left thigh. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. I'll take my hands into my heart and then press the back of your right arm into your left thigh just to get longer. I think length, not so much how deep can I twist, but how long can I make my spine while keeping my sitting bones grounded? And I like to kind of draw my left hip bone, especially back and down here. It's going to heighten the stretch in your left hip. Take one more big breath. And softly release. All right, lean back. You'll unravel your legs. Once again, you can shake them out. Good. And from here, take the soles of your feet together into Baddha Konasana. Leave some space between your heels and your thighs. We want to be able to slide our forearms underneath our shins. I like to cup my feet with my palms. And then with an inhale, lengthen your spine. Keep pressing your sitting bones down, heart forward. And then use your arms and your shins kind of as leverage to draw you forward and down. And again, you may choose to stay long. That might feel better in your back. Listen to your body. Maybe stay there. Maybe you come down. And then at the end, once you've gone as far forward as you can, then you can choose to drop your head down. I find that feels really good in my back muscles, but obviously we're not all built the same, so that's not going to be the case for everybody. And you'll halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Keep your right arm as it is. Take your left hand towards your left thigh. Now, you have to kind of trust yourself a little bit. So your right arm, you're going to pull on your shin so that you feel supported as you start to lean back. And now once you lean back into the right a little bit, press your left hip away from you, left thigh away from you. So you're opening your top shoulder, leaning back, and I like to tell people to look up slightly here because it allows them to lift their chest a little bit more. And then really breathe into those nice big muscles that sort of line your left side waist, your left QL on your back and your waist muscles, your hips. Take one more big breath in. And then softly roll back to center. Take your left forearm underneath. Right arm will open towards the right. Again, trust yourself. So give yourself a little pressure as you lean back. Press your right hip out towards the right, pressing down into your thigh. If you can straighten your right arm, that's great. And then draw your heart open. Maybe gaze up a little bit. Breathe in length into your waist, your lower back. Full inhale. And exhale, softly release. Good. Lastly, you guys, just lean back for a moment, pick up your feet, drop your knees from side to side. So you give yourself a little bit of a butt massage here. I love this one. So if you find a spot that kind of has a knot in it, you can roll around. That actually feels so good for me, but people look at me like I'm crazy most of the time when I do this in class. So if it doesn't work for you, just take a lie down, that's fine. Okay, and then we'll all meet in Supta Baddha Konasana. So you'll lie down on the floor, bring the soles of your feet together, your knees wide, place one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. And just take one last big breath in through your nose. Big sigh out through your mouth. And surrender your breath.